Welcome to Aligned Entrepreneur Secrets. I'm your host, Traci Bermingham, a business flow and efficiency expert, CEO of Goldie.com, and founder of the Business Alignment Method. We help entrepreneurs stop the hustle and get their time back by streamlining systems and building the flow state directly into the day-to-day operations of the business. We believe that you're here to make a massive impact on the world. The stress and logistics of running a business shouldn't be holding you back. Be sure to stick around until the end of the show where we'll reveal how you can be our next guest. Let's get started. Welcome to Aligned Entrepreneur Secrets. My name is Traci Bermingham. I am your host, and I am joined today by Richard Blank. Richard is the CEO of Costa Rica's call center, a division of Cheyenne Consultants. With his motivational speaking and effective rhetoric, he has managed top telemarketers for over 12 years. Richard discusses his renowned telemarketing school and his strategic partnerships aimed at enhancing Costa Rica's global telecommunications appeal. Tune in to hear Richard's insights and experiences and learn from his expertise in communication and telemarketing. Welcome, Richard. I am so excited to have you here.
So happy to be here, Traci, with you and your audience. And that's quite an intro. I really appreciate the trumpets and the red carpet.
Yes, of course. It's so number one, let's talk about your background because it's kind of fun back there. What do you have?
Oh, this is a 1961 Ricola Regis in my private candy stash. I'm an avid collector of antique pinball machines. So I have a nice game room downstairs too.
Oh, very fun. I love it. I love it. And does the jukebox work?
Absolutely. The only thing is, Traci, when I bought them down here, I was figuring I'd get a cachet of, let's say, In Excess or Duran Duran. No, I don't know anybody. They're all Central American artists. So I'm just giving them away.
So you don't even know.
One single 45 that I knew, not a single one.
Oh my gosh, that's great. I love it. All right, so tell me, you've been there how long now? You're in Costa Rica.
Yes.
You've been there how long now?
24 years. I moved here 27 years old back in August of 2000.
Very good. And you must just love it.
Enough to get past my parents' guilt and to stay here, to fall in love and build a business and to be on your podcast telling my tall tales. Yeah, it's been a great ride.
Right. Oh, fantastic. So give me the history. Give me how did you get there? How did you stay there? What does the business look like? Give me the details.
Real quick, Traci, I grew up in Northeast Philly. And instead of going into law school, medical school, or something like that, I was a Spanish major at the University of Arizona. So I was doubling down on languages. I figured Se habla español might open some doors for me on a business card. Little did I know that a very good friend of mine owned a center here. And he said, Richie, why don't you come down for a couple months, take a time out, teach them English. Well, I fell in love, decided to stay, work at my friend's center for 4 years. And, you know, it's interesting, Traci, when you learn the business from an inside out, not at sea level. So I learned everything minus contracts and the administrative side. And so when it came time for me in my mid-30s to throw my hat in the ring, well, I had the experience. I just didn't know what to do. So I had to hire specialists, CTOs, accountants, attorneys, people with home court advantage. And then in regards to scaling the business, I just couldn't turnkey a center. I had to rent a turnkey station at a blended center. So it's almost like a seat on an airplane. It got me there. It was just, top dollar. I could scale accordingly. They were in charge of the IT, the internet, and things like that. And then after a couple of years, I had the base of clients and capital to rent space and buy used equipment. 6 years later, I had enough money to buy a building, build out a third floor, and have the capacity for 300. So in
wait. So really quick back up, because I've never heard this model before. So you were able to rent a space like within an existing call center?
Excellent question, Traci. Yes, it's like a internet cafe, but a little bit more enhanced. Why? Because there's coffee and toilet paper, maybe a game room, I don't know. But I could start filling rows. But it was expensive. I mean, once you get past 24 agents, it doesn't make sense because you could rent space for $1,000, buy some equipment and start flipping. And so
yeah.
I didn't know what to do because, I grew to about 40 seats at this location. It was ridiculous what I was paying for 200 seats a month, regardless of what you were offering me. And so I had to make that leap of faith. And so I waited the 2-year mark to ensure that I did have some capital, steady clients, good base of agents. So then I invested my money into building out portions of a rented space. So I could buy used equipment, used furniture, and do 2 dozen at a time. So I don't I never understood real estate. When you see these developments that have like 7 buildings that are 20% done, why don't you just finish one and keep going? I never
Right.
understood that monopoly theory. So I never overextended. I always acted my wage. I did everything in cash. So there was no interest payments, didn't take on an annoying partner that was questionable or forced me to do things. And so slow and steady is boring, but it gives you stability. And it enabled me once again to weather certain storms and also to ensure my reputation here. Because if I don't pay payroll or their insurances, that gets around, and it's a small country. And so you had to be mature and you had to do that sort of responsibility for people's livelihood. And so for me, I could pace. I didn't get overwhelmed. Sure, I landed a couple large accounts where I had to hire 2 dozen, 3 dozen at a shot, but the main thing was to ensure that I'm in an environment that has its stability so I could focus on other things. And that's how I was able to do it. I couldn't wear all hats in the kitchen. I really couldn't. I needed to be a trunk and have branches and then roots. And then I could do my thing. My juice is what I call it, where I do the training and the onboarding and the motivation. And you brought up a really good point about business. I could sound fancy and have the structure, but without the soldier, I'm nothing. And so I go so core and so base with people here, kind of like a bird or a feral cat that's willing to come back. And they have the leverage. I compete against Amazon. So there are certain things, and I will discuss this with you, that I do in order to get people to be with me for 10 to 15 years. Wow. And so I think if we can not compete against the big boys, but go back into the basics of where best friends and bonding is made, that's old school. That's the coach, that's the teacher, that's the best friend that got you through your rainy Wednesday when you wanted to give up. And then those are the ones that you extend your fidelity. And so I learned it that way, the easy way. Yeah.
Easy way. I love that. So give me some tips. How do you keep people for as long as you do?
The first is I call the balls and the strikes and give you a heavy dose of Philly guilt. I go, yo, Traci, come on. You're doing 12 today. I saw you did 44 last week. A, you're better than that, and you're out of character. I'll call the shots. I'll call you an ace when you are, and I'll have to balance your bike when you're not. And I'm not going to do it in an office that's intimidating where you're about to cry. We might have to go downstairs and play some air hockey or some Pac-Man. Why not? Why not? Like Willy Wonka, why can't we drink from rivers of chocolate? It doesn't need to be such an environment where I break you. I'll bend you, won't break you. And so I do take into consideration outside influences and people taking care of families and children. So I don't know about you, Tracy, but I was given a lot of second chances. I wasn't a bad kid. I was just curious. And there were certain people that could have made a decision and gave me a thumbs down, but they said, Richard, I'll give you a second shot at it. And I try to pay that forward, not for the real rebel that's breaking windows, but for the one cat that's off that day. And I give them second chances, a breath, pull them off the phone, give them coffee. Doesn't need to be your break time. It's my break time. I see these things. And I believe in prevention instead of a cure. And I think that when you find somebody in that vulnerable state and you take advantage in a good way in order to reset and restart again, as I mentioned before, that's where those people will realize that you were truly there for them when they needed you the most. And they come to me and they say that. It's not the shallow things where, hey, you know my name or thanks for paying me. Like, yo, do you remember what happened 3 months ago when I almost quit or I crashed my car and I was crying in your office? You stopped your day and you spoke with me and I'm just an employee. I go, you're not just an employee. Stop saying these things. And you know what I don't like either, Trace, is when they put me on a pedestal. I'm just a man. I'm a guest in this country. Fortunately for me, I took long shot odds, became an owner of a company. But as I mentioned before, I need you as much as you need me, and we need together. It's the only way it works. It's a we thing. And yeah, I got the suit, the boss, big deal. If that's what you want me to do, I'll play the part. But I'll throw them a curveball every now and again because you and I are old school like that. We know how to zig and zag. We can talk about fun things. And we grew up during a time where you had to ride your bike to your friend's house and knock on a door to ask permission and show your manners and be polite and experience those other things. And so I take the way that I was raised very much into consideration, because if that is my foundation, I find that to be universal. And I can do it in any language or even without sound. I just extend such courtesies and good faith that the majority of the time it's received well. And that's why, my friend, this has lasted more than 2 decades. It was only supposed to last 2 months. I was supposed to be home by now. But the fantasy continued and my stars became aligned. So why do you think I'm just happy every day and all day? Traci, should have never happened. And so I try to extend that sort of gracious attitude to those with whom work with me. Is it different? Yes, but it's consistent, right? And it's sincere. And it's not weak. It's just being that one person that actually is willing to extend that sort of real emotion, energy. I'm willing to do it. And there's a price. You have haters, but it's those that never give you the 2 weeks notice or can look in your eye, right? We started strong, they ended bad. And I get disappointed more than I do angry. And I know I gave you a supreme pizza of thought there, but those are just kind of the things that I need, my pillars to be able to sustain my thought process after all of these years.
I love it. And I think it's just, it's so interesting because so I come from a corporate background, and corporate is you take all emotion out of everything you do.
Yeah.
You can't show emotion. You can't write an email with emotion. You need to strip all that out and just go without it. Yet we're human beings. And so the humanity that you put into your business is so unique and so needed for what I think corporate is the norm. I feel like most of the time, and people try to do business with no emotion, no humanity, no, like even just you were talking about, just take a break for a minute. I can see something's going on with you. Like, what, how are you? What do you need? Let's talk about it. That sort of thing. It's so important.
That's what they come back and tell me.
Yeah.
That one time I gave them the smile. But yeah, it's as I mentioned before, it's not the bells and the whistles. It's really the substance of what you're looking for. Yeah, good point, Traci.
Like the substance. I like that. So talk to me about so I'm such a nerd for stuff like this. So talk to me. And I don't think I've ever met someone who has a call center. So I have all these questions of like, tell me how, give me like a day-to-day of like how you run this business with how many agents do you have now?
150. Haven't you watched Hollywood? Don't you see Leonardo DiCaprio
I
closing?
know, but that's not the consistency that you're talking about. That's the
No, of
drama
course
you're
not.
talking about, right?
Not.
So yeah, so like how do you effectively manage 150 call center team members?
Sure, you have a supervisor for 10 to 15 seats. Let's say it's 15 seats. So I got 10 supervisors supporting 15 people with the team lead in there as well, ready to be the backup. We have KPIs, which are key performance indicators. We do quality control, which means that we're able to see the dispositions on the phone call, the kind of calls they're making, the talk time, wrap up time, and we can grade them. What does that do? It gives us structure. It allows us to make minor adjustments. It's okay. You could be 85%. I can find, 15% to do. And it's usually the soft skill. It's the timing. It might be how fast or how loud you're speaking. Me, I get upset if someone doesn't say the name Traci at least 10 times on the call. I need them using military alphabet for anchoring for those that have served and to make sure emails do not bounce back. We believe in positive escalations. So I can compliment your gatekeeper before being transferred to you. I do it verbally, I do it in writing. And then when I call your company back, I get a hero's welcome. These aren't tips and tricks. It's common sense and courtesy. And as long as you show some class prior to any sort of contract or you pitching your product, the owner of the company would love to hear how amazing Traci is and working with her for all these years and how nice she was on the phone when she answered and represented your company in the best light. Oh, compliments away. And then next thing you know, you get the reinforcement that's very positive, not negative. It's not a, we're good, thanks. What are you selling? Don't call me again. It's, who's this? Mr. Compliments. And then I just bought myself
Yeah.
at least 5 minutes of time to do what I need to do. And really, Traci, it's not a 20-minute call with these, or a 10-minute call with the agents. It's really 20, 30-second calls. I really have them break these down into certain segments. So you don't leave doors open. You go from horizontal to vertical, start asking open-ended questions so the client can answer them for you. Give not just, do you like ice cream? It's what kind of ice cream do you like? Next thing you know, it's 3 scoops chocolate with Jimmy's on top and sauce, and you just gave me 4 or 5 answers. You can carry plates. It shaves time, it saves time, it shows direction, it's active listening, it's engagement. All we're doing is giving advanced communication skills that are more diplomatic, more strategic. I focus on the thesaurus for similes to expand their vocabulary so they eliminate words like help, which only upsets Traci. We say assist, guide, and lend a hand. It's never excuse me, Traci. No, no, no. I fall on that sword. It's, hey, Traci, for my clarification, was it ABC or 1, 2, 3? I'm asking people about their convenience. I say meetings are tentative because I want to be able to wiggle just in case something happens. Oh, goodness. You package these things together, you're passing your SATs, all right? You got 800 points. The rest is up to you. It's the finesse. But I can give such foundation training that if you play your worst odds, I can still give you better metrics than most call centers. But it's the individual that expands themselves, stands up, uses illustrators, image streaming, so they're a painting instead of a print in regards to their descriptive vocabulary. Oh, goodness. And then when there's the anchoring of dogs barking or children or things that you read about them with the due diligence, my God, Traci, what you're writing about your podcast about harmony and rhythm and about people's fulfillment, you're getting to the core. And that's why people love your podcast, gravitate towards it. I was dying to be a guest here. And if this could be somewhat of an example, it's not even a sales call. We're just, I guess, selling for time. But this is the relationship building. So at the end of the day, when Traci needs to choose 10 companies, I might be more expensive than India and the Philippines. But you say to your associates, did Richard speak to you today? He did. We complimented both of you. And he read about my company. He wrote me back, leaving nice voicemails, perfect email templates. I love how he does business. I see the value in it. And so I'll win it on merit, not on price. And these are the sort of things people tell me. And so it's something I can sleep well at night. I don't feel guilty about. I don't compromise ethics, values, and morals because people would leave my job if I was asking them to sacrifice that. And so you get your harmony, you get your balance, you get your rhythm, you get your pace, and it's like a floating feather, okay? You can still move, but it doesn't have to be so fast. It's not going to hurt or break anything. And so I can woo away this. I can do this without the resistance. I can use gravity and wind and water currents to my advantage so I don't get tired and I can enjoy the ride. And so any times we can shave the time, reduce the weight, give us that forward motion, those are the champs. Those are the aces. Oh, they're such artists of speech. It's a pleasure to listen to somebody so engaged because, with this AI and chatting and emails and texting, I say, how many texts do you get a day? 1,000. How many emails do you get a day? 100. How many voicemails do you get a day? None. Well, let me make the voicemail. Let me leave Traci the greatest voicemail ever, about the aligned entrepreneur secrets. And what you've been doing with the 4 kids, and are you still drinking all of your water every day, Traci? And just making sure that you're paying attention to the small details so you remember me.
Yeah.
So when I call back, it's Richard again. And you know Richard. And I just make nice. And by doing so, it might be different from the Wolf of Wall Street or Blake and Glengarry Glen Ross, but damn it, I built a company from it. And I know that a lot of people like that old school way. And so that's kind of my story for you.
I love it. So good. So good. So someone listening, how would they know if that they needed to call you? How would they know if they were a right fit for you?
Okay, well, maybe taking out the misconceptions of Hollywood. But secondly, no, if they're a growing real estate business, travel, transportation, I work with movies and music attorneys. It could be an inbound support. It could be outbound lead gen. Is there any ways you can delegate some of that responsibility of filtering through leads or just touching base with people and giving a hot lead transfer? You don't need to hire dozens. You can start with one dedicated agent to make 4,000 phone calls for you a month on a predictive dialer, speaking to 5 dozen people a day, depending on your industry and vertical, setting up 2, 5, 10 appointments a day. And then from those, you see what the conversion ratio is. Individuals that just go off the cuff and do not have a written script. Individuals that have their industry memorized, but don't have the rebuttals down for analysis, for adjustments. These are the sort of things that we can share, our not just our technology, but just our experience and what we've seen in regards to how to touch base with people and how to follow through. And so it's overwhelming for somebody that's trying to do it. They become very behind on their emails, their voicemails, their phone calls. Next thing you know, that lead they spoke to is dead. It's dead. It's the worst thing is buying good food, forgetting about it and seeing it rotten. And so you might need your sidekick to keep that engine going for you on the side and doing the, Tracy, doing the panning for the gold.
Right.
And then you just take the ounces to town,
Right.
that lets you do that. And that's what they need. But I tell you what, if they're willing to keep an open mind and assist in coaching an English second language agent with a neutral accent, but has the skills, you can build an army.
I love that. That's so good. That's so right up my alley of just you've got the talent, you've got the skills, you've got the training, you've got the people, and it's that the business owner, right? Like they've got the knowledge and experience in that partnership of having someone like while you're doing your day to day, having someone that's actually like lead gen, right? Like that's actually doing it on the side. Like there's no way that a business owner can make 4,000 calls a month and still run a business. Like I don't think it's actually possible. So having that skill set on the side that's trained to do that 100% is a game changer in
Your
any
worker
business.
bees. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. I love it. So how would they, if they're interested in working with you, how would they get in touch?
Well, they can go to my website, Costa Rica's call center. They can give me a call at 888-271-6750. And my suggestion for people is when they're calling me, don't think I'm going to force a hand or try to cold call close you. I just like talking to people. From an educated point of view, you make a decision. But I love paying it forward. And it's very interesting for me to readjust tones and scripts to give them advice on what I've seen. And just, it's not $1 million advice, it's just opening eyes. This is my wheelhouse. I know what I'm doing. So it's my pleasure to give you a free slice of pizza. My pleasure. And to
Very
see
good.
what you're doing and to see what's happening and to let you speak to a couple of agents and you tell me what you think and have you come visit. That's what a lot of people like to do too. And but telemarketing has a bad rap. A lot of people see it in a certain way because we've all received phone calls during dinner at the worst time or trying to sell you something you don't need. In my mind, it's a means to an end. I see it now as a luxury compared to non-voice omni-channel. And if you have the right person that is delicate, strategic, diplomatic, and polished, it's a beautiful representation. It's live theater. It's a painting. It's different. It really makes its mark. And also there are certain things you get on interpersonal communication that you would never get through an email or other forms of communication. There's miscommunication, misinterpretation, timing, right? But when you speak with somebody, my goodness gracious, you can really get those tell signs. You can get the goodies out of it. that you would have never gotten before. And so I can't stress that enough. And I think more people are used to not communicating. So when they are in a social situation, just from cocktails or business meetings or just on the cuff, that engine ain't starting. It's like wrinkles in a shirt. Their grammar's bad. They're repeating. They say, oh, I haven't had my coffee yet. Coffee yet what? You can wake me up at 3 a.m. and I can still pitch you. And so people need to practice this speech that we grew up with. We didn't have those phones and the computers. We had to hang out in circles and talk and have things to say and thoughts. And so I don't know. I think we have a luxury trade now. Could I see this changing? I've already seen it changing. It's kind of like kiosks at restaurants. Yes, positions have been reduced. And I do agree that the gathering and the sorting of information is fantastic. It's consistent. It's very helpful. But on the flip side, I'm going to give you the greatest argument ever, Traci, on everything. AI will never replace the empathy between two people. A computer cannot tell you what happens when your puppy runs away, right? Or you broke your arm. And they're not going to tell you. They don't, and don't expect a hug from a computer. It's not right. I'll let them carry 95%, but when I need a shoulder to cry on, I'm calling Traci. Come on. That's where it comes down to it. That gets the ball in the end zone. If you really want to see if my industry gets shaved, there will always be that selected department to run that ball in the end zone, to do Walter Payton sweetness on me. And so companies need to do that. They need to extend that sort of courtesy to their clients, because the worst thing ever is latency, being on hold, email, chat support, that's wrong. They don't get back in touch. You're going to lose clients that way. They're wonderful. They're great people. Please extend that sort of courtesy to them if you're able.
Very good. I love it. Thank you, Richard, so much for being here. This is wonderful. I love the human perspective, the human touch in everything that you're doing. And it's obviously very intentional, well thought out, working with excellence. Operating with excellence. So thank you so much for being here. I will add to the show notes for anybody listening. I will add the number and the link that Richard mentioned, so that get in touch if this is something that you're looking for. I don't think you can go wrong here. So thank you, Richard, so much for being here. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It's so much fun, Traci. Thank you, and your audience as well.
Thank you. All right, everybody. Until next time, we will see you then. Traci Bermingham here. Thank you so much for listening to Aligned Entrepreneur Secrets. If you are a successful coach, consultant, service, or e-com business owner who would like to be featured as a guest on this program, please visit goldie.com/guest. If you got something out of this interview, we would love it if you would share this episode on social media. Just do a quick screenshot with your phone and text it to a friend or post it on the socials. If you know someone that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show and include the hashtag Aligned Entrepreneur Secrets. I love seeing your posts and guest suggestions. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, go ahead and subscribe. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show and mean a lot to me and my team. Want to know more? Go to our website, goldie.com, or follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram at GoldieGlow. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.